This is IBM Museum, and in this video I have a little bit of an ad hoc unboxing. I was working with my IBM token ring stuff today, taking pictures of it, doing images of the EEPROMs, any EEPROM I could find on those adapters, and I've got those over to Major Tom. Those will be incorporated into the pages to get the pictures up on those pages. As a matter of whenever he has an opportunity to do that. He's been doing some major updates to the site, but this was among or closely by the other token ring stuff I had, of course, and this is a Xircom network adapter. And as I say, it is token ring. I've had this squirreled away. This is not any sort of recent acquisition for me or anything like that. And there's a little bit of information out there on the net, but these are really nice from the aspect that, and I know RetroCheck Chris has gone through and he's worked with the Ethernet adapters, and I'll show you those. But these were where it had where you attach it to the parallel port of your PC, and then it had software that just basically used, directed the network connection to the parallel port. So there was the occasion that a system that was rather limited, maybe not even having an adapter slot or not enough, where you could go through and you could run these adapters. And I had to find out the difference between the token ring adapter as compared to the Ethernet model, because this actually does also have a pass-through on the PS2 side for power, and I think the token ring model is a little bit more, requires a little bit more voltage. And this cable is going through, and the inner wires are fine, but the shielding, the insulation is starting to deteriorate and come off. And so if there were any adapter within this box that had a power adapter like that, I just have to look at that cabling too, because this box is actually sealed. And we'll just look over the outside of the box. I don't think, I may go through and just put down the webcam here, just so I know that I'm in the full field of vision for this. There is the back of the box, and lets you externally connect a compatible personal computer to any 16 or 4 megabit, and they give the specification, the 802.5 token ring local area network through the parallel port, and space-saving design, and kind of give some highlights there. I'll try and not get too much of a reflection from the ring light, and includes both the 3.5 and 5.5 diskettes. I have no idea of what I paid for this at the time. And this is known as the PT2-16B3. And I think I saw the there's the 16B2 version, I think, that's on eBay, and it's all of like $40 plus $20 shipping. So you can get something like this for $16 in the United States if you so wanted to. And I'll give a little bit of information about Xircom itself. It gives a California address here and phone number, and I'll provide some information on that. The shrink wrap is mostly complete. I mean, the box is mostly sealed. It does have, you know, who knows if I had mice tasting it or something else like that, maybe. And, you know, just a little bit of like tape that's discolored. The box sides have about the same information, and then the smart ring software, and then a little bit more of a bigger version of their logo. And so I'll get to the point of going through and removing the shrink wrap that I can open it. And I'll have to decide. I'll probably go from this end that has a little bit down from the from where the opening is, where the box flap. And this cellophane might be just enough to go through. Sometimes I go through and I leave the cellophane otherwise intact on the box to get them open. Just really depends. And of course, never opened condition. And we see, in fact, I have to determine how this is. It looks like the box is maybe crimped in a little bit. But it's packed. It's packed well. And actually some rather nice packaging in that regard. And that, of course, looks a lot bigger than the Ethernet version. And then it's got the separate power adapter. This is, I think, a 12 volt. We'll look to see. And just the reason that the Ethernet interface won out over Token Ring, because remember, Token Ring was faster and better. It's kind of like the Betamax to the VHS. It was a better product, but it costed more. Just a little bit harder to implement. You had to have more processing capabilities on it, and hence a little bit bigger adapter, and also the power requirement. And that's how Ethernet won out. It was just ultimately was cheaper to produce, and they got around a lot of the issues that they had with Ethernet, data collisions and things like that, with the introduction of switches and replacing hubs, and it just got faster ultimately to beat out and be less expensive than what the Ethernet is. I mean, what Token Ring had to involve. And these are real neat for the, I mean, it's not real visible here, but as you spin this red band, this red rubber band, it goes through and it runs those thumb, the retainers, the screw retainers, into the port, both at the same time, just like basically a track. So you could put this on parallel port and you just spin it tight, and the same thing, righty tighty, lefty loosey, for the motion ultimately of that. It's got indicator lights, and it has the DB9 and the power port on that end. And a good deal, twice the size of, almost effectively twice the size or probably even twice the mass of the Ethernet adapter. And that having the 5-volt power that's able to even siphon off the PS2 port versus this. And the adapter, and even is branded for them, although it looks pretty generic. It's 12 volt DC, made in China, and a half amp. And so it's got some software that's included. As I say, very nice packaging for all that. And then customer assurance pledge coverage. We'll get talking about where Xircom effectively is today. Just a moment. There's your product registration card. Back when companies did that, no postage necessary if mailed in the United States. And there it has the pocket adapter. Attention pocket adapter users. And I can go through and scan this. I don't know if really there's any site out there that still documents these at all, or effectively has software updates or anything like that. They even give a European number. And talk about when to plug in the power supply and to turn it on. And so this appears to be the diskette packet. I'm not going to go through and open this. I'll probably go through and open it at the point where I image the diskettes, or am set to image the diskettes. Typically on the 3.5-inch diskette, they include what's the files that are on the 5.25 anyway. And these may even be the low density diskettes of 720 KB for the 3.5-inch and 360 KB for the 5.25-inch diskette. And I know what version this is and everything else. And I indicate my acceptance of following the Xircom license agreement. And if you do not accept or agree to these terms, you may, within 15 days, return the unopened disk package and all accompanying items to the place you obtain them for a full refund. And I am not sure of where I obtain these. This box. So looks like a pretty good manual. Back when, you know, products had manuals that were included with them, where they had to do, back in the day, where they had to do the print media. Okay. And just the introduction, specifications, installation and setup of what all you need. Configuration diagnostics. And even looks like there's a program that they have set up for doing self-test and things like that. It might be real interesting to see. In working with the IBM adapters, there's EPROMs that you can put on the adapters and called Trace and Performance, and you run a program that gives a graph, basically how your token ring network, you know, connected to that device is functioning. And I'll go through and have coverage of the IBM token ring adapters at some point here. And then they have the, the files, an NDIS driver, IPX for Novell NetWare. And they even have the Xircom 3 open. I don't even remember anything about that for the LAN manager for DOS. Autosoft Lantastic. By Vines. Some really old names as far as some of the networking schemes back in the day. FTP software PCP / TCP. Now I even wonder if these have, for the token ring side being, an aspect that, but I wonder if they have TCP IP drivers, maybe for the Ethernet adapter, but I wonder for the token ring adapter too. LAN Manager 2.x for OS2. LAN Manager 1.x for DOS and Xircom 3 Plus Open. LAN Manager 1.x for OS2. So this is apparently stepping back. NDIS drivers, NetBIOS, Novell NetWare. So OS2 Extended Edition, LAN Requester, and the files, all the structure. You need Sun, even Sun PC. Quite a variety of back in the today, but it goes through and probably relatively good coverage in the manual for all the different setups and things like that, the parameters that you're set up. And a little bit of glossary in the back. And Smart ND driver parameters. Guess that's probably the software that's associated with it. So yeah, kind of a neat little manual package there. Now, the Xircom today, I'll get in addition to getting up the webcam picture, I'll get up a Xircom was bought out by Intel more than 20 years ago, back in 2001, January 15th, 2001. And so that is what has become of them. And get to, I don't know how much is to this page. But what they say, and this is $2001, said what? For approximately $748 million USD, just for inflation now. That maybe be, who knows? I'm not familiar with the inflationary rate, but that is going to certainly be above a million, and probably above $1 billion in today's dollars. And they give all the notes there. $25 per share, all cash tender offer, valued at $748 million. In addition, Intel Okay. In addition, Intel will assume all existing vested and unvested employee options. The acquisition complements Intel existing desktop PC and server-based network access business by enabling Intel to provide new products for notebook and mobile computing uses. I don't know if they followed through. Xircom, of course, had other products. They had PC card networks and things like that. I don't know how well established they were on the network side at that time. And I'd have to see when this token ring adapter for the parallel port was produced. Of course, very much prior, may have even been a decade earlier before they were bought out by Intel. And I'll include a link to this in the video description, just because there's not really a whole bunch of other material. I mean, you can search for it online, and you'll find that the one that's on eBay if you want to purchase one of these for yourself to connect up to your token ring network. But that's what the unboxing was for today. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click on that like button. And as always, I talk about subscribing to my channel and recommend it to your friends that are interested in this sort of content. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.